want to show you how to use the movies that are recorded on Blackmagic camera. You know that we have a DaVinci Resolve software which is free and it's fantastic. It's an amazing color grading suite that has editing and sound mixing features as well. So you just just Google it, DaVinci Resolve. It sends you to the Blackmagic Design website. Just go down there and then you see that the DaVinci Resolve 14 is free. So you don't need the studio version. Just a free version would do the job. So download it. It is installed now, and just you see that this is DaVinci Resolve here, and this is DaVinci. I just open it. Okay, skip the tour. Okay, you can set up your project. So just quick setup. Operating system, graphic card, continue. So we are using the 4K camera, so it's better to set it up as Ultra HD. Blackmagic camera, and I just call that, make a folder, call it DaVinci Resolve project. Create that folder, open. So this is the project media location where we store all the media. Continue, and then so the keyboard layout, you might want just Premiere keyboard layout or just a DaVinci Resolve keyboard layout. Or just if you're a Final Cut Pro X user, you can just adjust it the way you like. So I quite like to use Premiere Pro, which is the standard keyboard layout. Okay, let's start. Okay, so you see that I have moved, so this is the DaVinci Resolve project that we made. I have moved all the footage that we recorded today into this folder. The movies that you record on the camera, they come with this weird naming. It's basically just like the date and so these are the metadata that you put on in the camera file. So the wrong date is because we just didn't set it up. But I just selected all those three footage that we recorded, one in ProRes Proxy and one in ProRes 422, and I renamed them. And the one that is recorded on RAW, it comes as an image sequence. You see that it's not one single movie, it's just like a sequence of images. So when we get into the DaVinci Resolve program, so it has 5 stages, 5 interfaces. Media is just for importing the files. It's basically just a media browser. It's a file browser. And editing for editing your film. For color grading, Fairlight is for sound designing, and delivery for exporting out. So you see that here I am inside the project that we made. So you remember that it's DaVinci Resolve project. So it's there. It's that one. So, and I have copied all the footage into the footage folder, and you see that you just need to bring them inside your project. So I need this ProRes Proxy, ProRes 422, and that raw file. When I get into that raw folder, I don't see all those images. I just see one single image. So, okay. Now in the media browser, which the media interface, you can just double click on them and select the input output of the shots that you want. So let's say you remember the shortcuts in Premiere. I stands for input and O stands for output. So where she sits is the end of the shots. O, and this one as well. This is ProRes 422. This is a very good shot to to analyze this camera because it starts from the very bright place to a very dark place. So Blackmagic has a large, well, has a very wide latitude. It means that it covers the details both in very light situation and very dark situation. Okay, so I just selected them. I just added input output. You can create bins, like let's say daylight shots. I don't know, scene number 12 and then scene number 13. So whatever. So you can create folders, or as DaVinci calls them, bins, to organize your shots. We don't need them now because it's just 3 shots. So let's move on to the editing. You see that our shots are over there. I just grab the first one, or maybe the middle one, because I want my project to have that setting. Drag and drop it here. A project gets created right away. So you see that we start from black and then we go to the proxy, and then so this is 422. Basically, let's start with the proxy, the lowest quality, and then so this is proxy. You can see that this is 422, and this is raw. Add some text at the beginning, like this is proxy. So if you just click on that effect library, you see lots of video transitions, audio transition, titles, generators, and stuff like that. I just create like just a simple text here, and I call that. You just double click on that and just type this one is ProRes proxy. You can change font and everything else, but that's fine for now. This is like you can see the duration. It's like around 1-2 seconds. 1 second should be fine. You can zoom in and out into your timeline here. So maybe I use key arrows to move back and forth. So 1 second is enough. I move it down. Click here, press delete, pretty much like Premiere, and then zoom out. Add another text here. That one also about 1 second. This is ProRes 422, and another one here. You can overlay the text onto like lower third, mid lower third. So based on where you need to position the text, just use what you need. So this one as well. This is raw. Okay, my editing timeline is ready as well. I just don't spend too much time on editing parts or explaining all these details. This is just an overview of how to bring your stuff into DaVinci Resolve. So you can just jump onto color grading. So you see that we have this. Well, here in the color grading interface, it shows us the codec, the quality of the clip. So this one is proxy, this one is 422, and this one is DNG, or in other words, it's raw. It's a DNG sequence. So you will see that. So let's go to the highest quality. So like at this time, okay, oh maybe just around somewhere around here. So go back a few frames. So when I work on the raw file, you see that it's not responding very well. It's very slow. Anyway, I just add. You can add a node, add serial nodes or parallel nodes. So I just add. I press S, or what was that? Alt S, Control S. I forgot that. So it's just, yeah, Shift S, Shift S. Afterwards, you can just click. Okay, serial node, and here you can start playing around with contrast. So we have multiple color grading interfaces. So just RGB mixer or this gamma, and there's a lot of very useful masking and other stuff, selection, and if you just want to work on the like, let's say the bright area, or just on her skin. So let's, at this stage, I just play around with the let's say contrast. So this one might I'm gonna add a bit of contrast, not too much, just a bit. And then I want to, so lift, gamma, and gain are just fancy names for highlights, midtones, and shadows. So if you just want to work on the highlights, just play around with that. You can reset it by clicking here, midtones, and then shadows. So I quite like to add a bit of orange to the highlight and a bit of blue to the shadows. So here you can say that you just can select your added node and Command or Control D to see the result. I just want to work on her skin a bit more, so I just add a node, a serial node. I go to the selection, I click here, and so you see that her skin has been selected, but if you just turn this on, it shows the extent of that selection. So you see that it just runs through your whole image sequence. So basically we are working on just her skin tone. So you can extend this area by just playing around with these so you see that just that area has been selected. Yeah, I just make it a little wider. Okay. So now whatever I do, like so it applies on just that selection area. So if I just make that hair skin just be let's say make it brighter, so, or like warmer, you see that just that I'm not just gonna do something radical. You see that her skin turned purple. So because of that selection, just the changes applies on that part. So let's say I'm going to just go back here and just turn her skin a bit more orange. orangish. Okay, that's it. You can add different, so let's say I add another serial node, and here I add a, I don't know, a mask, and this mask I'm going to use it for vignette. I just darken it using this slider, especially in the gain, in the shadows. Just make her darker and darker and darker. But I just don't want the middle part to get darker. So you see that I just want the surrounding to get darker. That's why I just go here and click, and this like inverts the mask. And now I add another serial node. So this, if I just Command D, you see that the effect of that. Okay. If I turn, so by clicking on that, I bypass all the effects. So basically, this is the raw shot and this is the graded one. So just select this one and middle click, select the shot that you want. So let's say you want this shot to borrow all the grades that you did on this shot. Just click on that and then middle click on the, so click on the source and middle click on the destination. Just gets all of that. I do the same thing for the first one. So I color graded all of that. Basically, you will see that I have to just view full screen. Just one, it was Command F, I believe. Yes. So this is so Command F or Control F in Windows. This is the proxy. So you see that there's a lot of compression around. Let me just, let's have her in when she comes in focus. You see that the edges are very compressed compared to the raw version. Command F. There's a lot more saved in this raw version. The highlights are much more. Let's have a look at that. The highlights are much more preserved compared to the proxy or version. But my recommendation is that 4:2 is just the best format to use, because it's about 1.5 GB per minute, so it's not too, it doesn't occupy too much of space on your CF card, and also the quality is very good. So now if you want to work on the sound, just use this Fairlight. I don't want to play around with the sound now. I just go to the deliver, and then here you just export it as, like, let's say I just want to export it as QuickTime H2. So this is the delivery format for YouTube or anywhere. You see that all other formats like ProRes, 4:2, BCP or uncompressed, these are all very working formats. But for YouTube, you just use H264. The resolution is 4K Ultra HD. I just move into HD. So like I just want to crunch it, like make it smaller. There's a couple of like presets like YouTube 1080p or Vimeo 1080p or sending to Final Cut Pro. So if you want to communicate with Premiere or Final Cut Pro through this Final Cut Pro 7 or X through this program, I just export as like usual. So I can put it, yeah, let's export it as let's say YouTube or Vimeo, which I think has a better quality, 1080. So you see that it restricts the bandwidth to 10K. What about YouTube? Yeah, basically same. Okay, you can add it to render queue and you can render it here, same place. And the file name is called timeline. I just call that. Let's add a name to it. Anyway, just send it to same spot. And then I add to render queue and then right click and then start. Or just here, click start render. Export is done. If you just look at then just call that exported movie, you will see that it just like it plays smoothly. And so this is the proxy format. The next one is ProRes. If you just look at the sky and the shadows, like here around, they are a lot more better preserved in the row. You see that we can see more of the shadows, but it's not that noticeable. So I think, yeah, they all work fine. Okay, so that was a very quick overview of how to bring your shots into DaVinci Resolve, how to do a very quick color grading and export your file out.